Hey everybody, welcome to another video, and yes, oh my god, another game pickups video. Been knocking out a lot of these lately, but a lot of stuff has been coming in, so I gotta get these videos out as soon as possible so I can focus on the other videos as well. But I know you guys enjoy these, and I enjoy putting them together, so like I said, another great pickups video for you guys to check out. Let's get right into it. So here is DeathWish Enforcers. Now, I'm not sure about this, but I think this was made by the same creator of Battle Princess Madeline. You guys let me know in the comments. But this is a run-and-gun shooter that's very similar to Sunset Riders, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys have played. This is more of a modern version of that formula, because the game is somewhat modern, I would say, because the game takes place in the 1970s, and it deals with a lot of the crime movies of that genre, like Dirty Harry. What was the other one? DeathWish was one of my favorites. The game has a lot of references to those 70s style movies. It is a lot of fun. It is difficult though, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they tried to get the arcade feel for it. I think it got a bit too tough. I just think the first few levels should be like somewhat easy to kind of bring you in, but it's pretty tough from the get-go, which a lot of people will appreciate, I would think. But it's a good-looking game, definitely worth having if you like this type of genre. It does switch it up a bit, as you guys can see the driving part here, which is pretty cool. Definitely something for people who love games like Sunset Riders. Keep this one on your radar.
DeathWish Enforcers. Grab crime by the balls and twist them off. 4-player co-op action. Blast the crap out of the bad guys. Deep dank jungle. Badass boss fights. Heart-pounding chases. Choo-choos. Binge-drinking detectives. Devilish cults. Heavy-hitting Larry, drunk with a sock chop. Part model, part cop Diana. Get my mother's name out of your mouth, Cleo. Introducing. Smooth as Maxwell. DeathWish Enforcers. Special Edition.
Momadora Moonlight Farewell. This is supposed to be the 5th and final game in the series. I had to pick this one up because I love the 4th game so much. If you guys have played Momadora Reverie Under the Moonlight, that game was freaking fantastic. A great Metroidvania that was really had an eerie feel to it. So I wanted to give this one a chance. I haven't played all the way through it yet, so just giving you guys some demo footage here. But definitely, if you like the 4th game like I did, it's something you might want to get into. I'm not sure about the previous games before it, the part 1, 2, and 3. I know the first two, I believe, are free. I'm not sure about the 3rd one, but definitely from 4 and up are great games. I don't think you guys will be let down, especially if you like Metroidvania. So keep your eye out for this one. Here is the Valkyrie Profile Strategy Guide, which back in the day was essential to have if you wanted the best ending to the game. I remember beating this game without the guide. I got the B ending, which was very just like unsatisfying. So I had no idea how to get the best ending. This guide at the time just was, they made you have to buy the guide in order to know how to get the good ending, because getting the good ending on your own, almost impossible to find out. So pretty crazy, but this is a good strategy guide, and I had to have it because I love Valkyrie Profile Part 1. Actually like all the games in the series, even Elysium, even though that one wasn't, well, it's a good game. You just got to play it for yourself. But this one is the top of the class of the series. Just overall story, characters, it's brilliant. It really is. You know, I could say the first 2 games, they really complement each other. Definitely pick these up if you have the chance, especially the first one. It is freaking fantastic. Here's Azure Striker Gunvolt Trilogy Enhanced. Now, of course, as you guessed, it has all 3 games on here. Azure Striker Part 1 and 2, like their gameplay has been tweaked a little bit to kind of like be familiar with the 3rd game, I would say. So you'll kind of see some little gameplay changes for the better, of course, with the first 2 games. This also has all DLC add-ons on the disc, so yeah, you don't have to worry about that. They added a new music mode and a new library mode, so it kind of, and I guess some kind of like drama like scenes or whatever like that, like little story scenes included. So I haven't seen them all yet, but definitely something cool. If you don't already own these games, this trilogy is a must-have. Now, I've been talking about these games on my channel ever since the beginning. Ever since I started my channel, like I've talked about these games. I remember back when the first game was released on the 3DS as digital only, and I was hoping that it would get a physical release. And eventually it did. And I was just super happy about that. And ever since then, they've been putting out sequels that are really like well thought out and pretty awesome, I would say. These games are such a throwback to a lot of the adventure games I used to play back in the day. So definitely keep your eye out on this trilogy. You know, like I said, you're getting all 3 games with like DLC, enhancements, all that good stuff. So if you don't own these games yet, now you have a reason to pick this up. I'm not sure if Limited Run or any of those sites are going to do like Limited Run mainly is going to do like an English like version of this game. This is the Play Asia version I have. It plays in dual languages, so you don't have to worry about that. But not sure if Limited Run's going to do a physical for it. But I'd rather just have it now. It's available now, so I picked it up now. I'm not waiting on Limited Run to release this. But anyways, guys, keep your eye out for this one. If you see it at your local store, definitely worth having. Here's Puzzle Bobble 3D Vacation Odyssey Collector's Edition. Now, this comes with a beach blanket, which is pretty cool. I didn't feel like opening this up just yet, so I just want to give you guys a look at what this comes with. Sorry for not doing the unboxing. I just didn't have time for this video. But definitely, for the price I paid for it, this is worth getting. And, you know, I think you guys should check the game out in general, too. If you like Puzzle Bobble games, you know, we don't need them to be 3D, but it is kind of cool. This one, you know, you can play it in first-person view or in VR, which is kind of cool. I think I have most of the Puzzle Bobble games, also known as Bust a Move. So, you know, I said, you know, I got to get this one because, you know, the games are evolving somewhat. So, you know, I want to kind of like see how they play. And this one plays pretty good. So, I don't know if people really want to play it in VR, but still in first person view or just in that way, it is kind of cool.
Like the paintbrush, the spin orb, and the chili bomb. And if you're feeling up to it, take on a never-ending barrage of bubbles in infinite mode. Or challenge your friends in a fast-paced online duel mode. Join Bub and Bob on this island adventure and rediscover the magic in this delightful take on the original Bubble.
All right, so here is About a Girl. This is a prequel to Road 96 where you play as Zoe in this Choose Your Own Adventure book. And you deal with Zoe's life as she first leaves Petria, like on the road and everything, hitchhiking and meeting new people, things like that. It's a pretty cool Choose Your Own Adventure book if you like to read, you know. And if you want more of Road 96, I know a lot of people can't get enough of the game, even though we got a prequel to it. People want a sequel, they just want more. So this book, you know, expands on that world. And just for people who haven't played the game yet, you know, you meet a lot of cool people in this game. You know, there's a lot of cool choices you can make. But to get the best ending in this game, you want to try to keep everybody alive, including Zoe. And there's situations where they could get killed because it's dangerous on the road. And it's just a cool adventure game that I think a lot of people should play. So I've talked about this game for a couple of years now. You guys have no excuse not to play this game. So go out there and get Road 96. And if you like the game a lot, get this book as well. Here is Stories from Seoul, The Gun Dog. This is a sci-fi visual novel that I had to give it a chance. You know, it seemed like it would be very interesting. I'm interested in playing a game, you know, with the style of the Zero Escape series, just with less violence, obviously. You know, that game was pretty brutal. But this one seems like it's going to be fun. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Gundam series, obviously, for reasons you're seeing here. But it's good to play a chill game like this. So, you know, just a little bit of text, you know, story options, all that good stuff, love story, you know, something very simple, man. Because right now I'm playing, a game I'll get into a little bit later, but man, that game is draining me. So after I play that game, getting to something like this will be a little bit more relaxing. But anyways, guys, definitely check this game out. I think it's interesting, and I think a lot of people will like it. Here's Planet of Lana. This is a puzzle platform game that's very similar to games like Inside and even Limbo. This game you play as a girl. I think it's her brother who gets kidnapped, and she embarks on a quest on trying to rescue him. I feel like what's going to hook me on this game is probably the visuals of where you go, the areas you explore. I'm not too savvy on too many puzzles in certain games, and I feel like puzzles there'll be a lot of puzzles in this game to kind of break up the action. Maybe not as much to make it like just annoying for me, but I think from what I've seen here, I think I'm probably going to enjoy this one. So if you guys have played this one, love to know your opinion about it. Super Rare is putting out the fire, guys. Like, seriously, they're putting out some good games, you know. Like, I really am impressed with what they've put out over the years, and it just seems like it's getting better and better. And I love that they're finally making games for PS4. Well, not so much PS4 anymore, but PS5. They're bringing out titles like this. So anyways, guys, if you had played this one, I'd love to know your opinion about it. Am I going to have a good time, or should I just save my time and play something else? Here is Among the Ashes. Now, this is a first-person survival horror game about a person who gets a video game that is haunted, and it starts to affect the real world he's living in. So weird phenomenon starts to happen. This game is a trip because you actually start to feel like you actually are playing something that's really cursed now. And this may unnerve some people, you know, but still, if you like survival horror, this is the game for you. I don't want to give away too much, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of Eternal Darkness, how that game would play tricks on you. But this one just feels like it goes way deeper than that. It's really trippy. But if you like first-person survival horror games, I would implore you to try this one out. But if not, I don't blame you, because some survival horror games are like too trippy nowadays. It's like, wow, dude, like, what did I just play? Like, it's like, it affects you a little bit. And I feel like this game is one of those ones. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this one. F1 World Grand Prix. This is a game that's been sitting in my eBay cart for a couple years now. But now that I'm hunting for PS1 games again, not anything expensive, but just some common games, I decided to finally pick this one up, man. I wasn't disappointed. This is a fun racing game. You know, it's not too crazy, but it's one of those games I feel like I would have passed on back in the day. You know, but now I kind of would appreciate it. So definitely a game I'm happy to have. I got this for around $8. It does have sequels and somewhat side games on the Game Boy Color as well. They have a sequel game on I believe on the N64 and the Dreamcast, so you guys might want to check those out if you have a chance. But yeah, this might be the start of a beautiful thing. You know, me getting into some F1 games. We'll see how it goes. Amber Alert. Now, this is a survival horror game where you play as a police officer responding to a late night call to rescue a kidnapped girl. There's like a cult that's in the neighborhood, and you don't want to run into them. You know, there's like quick time events if you run into them that you have to be really fast on. But mainly, you just want to get the girl and get out, because there's more than one, I believe, of the cult members that are stalking you, and you just got to be very careful, like, you know, when you're going in houses and stuff like that. Like, they're very dark and dim, and you can see the results of what the cult members have done to people just sitting in their homes. So, very creepy game. It kind of gives you the insight of, like, what police officers deal with in crazy situations like this. Like, they got no backup, you know, whatever like that. They don't know what's going on. This crazy stuff like this. So, definitely an interesting game. A lot of people would be interested in, especially like survival horror, because this game creeped me out. I did almost put it down because, like, in the beginning of the game, it was really dark. I couldn't see where I was going, so I was like, you know what, I'm done. But I fixed the contrast, and everything was good after that. But yeah, got to be careful in this game. It's very trippy, but very interesting. Laika Aged Through Blood. So this is a new game I just recently got, and from what I was told, it is an Metroidvania type, but with a gimmick. You're riding on your motorcycle for majority of the game. So from what the looks of the game, I feel like that the motorcycle kind of like it feels like if you played a sight bike where you have to pull back on certain situations or go forward not to like crash or whatever like that. It's kind of like that, and also, you know, you're shooting enemies while you're doing this and fighting bosses. So the game looks pretty intense. It looks fun. It looks of interest. So I can't wait to get through this one. You know, hopefully, you know, the gimmicks won't throw me off, you know, like crashing a motorcycle when you're trying to do a stunt or something like that. But from what I hear, you know, a lot of people actually liked it. You know, said the controls take a bit of getting used to, but it's not bad. So looking forward to this one. Here's Title Legends Volume 2 for the Xbox. Now, we got the game on the PS2 in America, but this Xbox version comes with 4 exclusive games that we didn't get here in America. I think they would have eventually released them if we got a title like Legends 3 or something like that. But the games included in this are Bubble Symphony, also known as Bubble Bobble Part 2. We got good old Ray Force, which is an awesome shoot 'em up. Caddish, which is a RPG game that was in arcades and also released on the TurboGrafx system. And then we have Poppin' Pop, a puzzle game. So those are the 4 games that are included in this collection. Does it make it worth having? Oh, hell yeah. I think if you get it for a cheap price, I like all these compilation type like releases. So hopefully we'll get more of these on more modern consoles. But I had to go ahead and pick this one up because I got it for a good deal. Here's Jeremy Mcgrath Supercross 98. This is a dirt bike racing game, which I just randomly picked up. You know, I was looking through PS1 games, and I said, you know what, I should go ahead and say it here. I might go for a full set. I'm not really sure yet, but I still want to pick up some cool games I didn't know about, and I've been really into racing games right now. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I made that video where I showed you guys a lot of the snowboarding games, so some dirt bike games are pretty cool too, so I don't really see much of these, so this one was actually pretty good. I like it. So hope to find some more like this. If you guys could recommend any, let me know in the comment section. But this one was pretty on point. And I've seen it a couple of times like when I was younger, but I just never took interest in it until now. So this game was on the cheap, so it won't break the bank. And yeah, I think everybody should have it in their collection. Here's Super Epic. This is another game I'm going in blind, but you know, I'm hoping that it's gonna be a solid game. You know, like when it comes to like pixelated games, sprites and all that stuff, you know, I have a soft spot for those type of games. So the game went on sale recently. I got this for $15, so I said for $15 for a physical game. You know, and I think it was actually going for as a digital, like it's like $20 or something like that. So getting the physical for cheaper, that was a go for me. But if you guys have played this one, let me know what you think. I'm really interested in it. It doesn't look like it's going to be a very long game. So when I finally get to it, you know, it'll probably be one of those games that's maybe short and sweet. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, let me know your opinion on this one. Umihara Kawase for the PlayStation. This is a gimmicky platform game. I've seen people compare it to Bionic Commando, but this game is way more goofier than that. You know, you have this fish hook that you kind of like get leverage from and swing from other platforms from. It's actually pretty fun once you get used to it. The game originally came out on the Super Nintendo. I think that's actually the last game I need to have all the versions of this game. But yeah, definitely a fun one. I think from when I played, I think the PlayStation one is the best one. But you guys let me know. I remember when the sequel, the PS4 and the Switch copy of Fresh came out, that a lot of people didn't really care about those games compared to these ones. You know, I could be wrong, but I feel like the reviews for like the veteran players were kind of lackluster compared to like the older games on the Super Nintendo and the PlayStation. But yeah, if you guys have played this series, it is fun. Let me know what you think about it, and definitely one to keep your eye out for. Got Jet Force Gemini recently. You know, I'm starting to rebuild my N64 collection little by little. You know, not my favorite system in the Nintendo library, but definitely has some cool games on it that I really enjoyed. Now, this game is kind of like a hidden gem in a way for Rare. You know, most of their games are known, but this one I feel like not a lot of people talk about, and it's actually a great game. You can play it on the Rare Replay, but I feel like the N64 controller is just the way to play this game. I just rather play it on original hardware instead of like with an Xbox controller. Now, it's been a while since I played this game. I remember this game being around like I want to say 12 or 13 hours to go through the main story, but I could be wrong. It might be just a little bit longer, but the game didn't overstay its welcome. I had a great time playing this back in the day, and it's definitely, I think it still holds up to this day, even though the graphics are pretty, like, you know, boxed in, I would say, in a way. But it's a fun one, guys. So if you have a chance to play this one, don't miss out on it. It's still cheap on the N64, which I think it'll remain being a cheap game. So if you have an N64, it's definitely a game you want to have in your library. Or if you want to play it on more modern platforms, like I think it's on the Switch service, and obviously Rare Replay. But I just prefer to play it on the original N64 controller. So that's why I got this version again. Death Stranding Director's Cut. Now, as much as I hate to say this, guys, this game was boring as hell. Like, I know I'm early in the game. I'm only on chapter 3, but still, I need a game that's going to pull me in. Now, if I paid full price for this game, like, I think it was around 60, 70 bucks when it first came out, I would immediately took this game back. But being that I only paid 20 bucks for it, I feel like I could maybe get through this. My buddy James kind of pumped me up to play it. He said it gets better as it goes on, so I'm hoping that it'll pick up sometime soon. But I don't even have a weapon yet. I don't have nothing. I'm just walking around traveling, like walking there. It's just, I don't know, guys, but I feel like something may be good with this game. I just got to stick with it. So we'll see how it goes. But if most of you have played this game, or some of you played it, let me know what you think about it, because I want to know if anybody agrees with me with how I feel about it, because it's just like, it's just boring walking around everywhere. I need something exciting to happen, but we'll see what happens. Here is Wonder Boy, Asha in Monster World Collector's Edition. Now, this box is pretty dang big, and I want to give a shout out to my buddy Big Game James from the PlayStation Ain't Dead podcast. He let us know that there were some deals going on, and I hopped on this immediately. Now, I didn't feel like opening this, so I'm sorry, guys. I'm just showing you what comes inside. I may do an unboxing later. I just didn't have time for this video to do the unboxings, so I just kind of just want to go through it. Like, yeah, you guys see what's inside of it, but if you haven't played this game yet, it is pretty freaking awesome. I think it's a good remake. Some people may disagree with me about this compared to the original. I thought it was a good remake. It opens the door for more sequels in the series, I would say. I think this one, to me, my personal opinion, I think it's the best one. I think it's the one that most people should probably play first. But that's just my opinion. You can enjoy any of the games in the series and enjoy them like I'm enjoying this one.